Good morning, everybody, and this is your DAX day trade setups for today. So, earnings season is upon us. We had some really good financial results in the US banking sector, and S&P got going. DAX didn't really get going, and basically, I'm going to look at this a little bit differently. So, what we do have is a downward trend. We've broken. We had the pin bar test early in the week, and then we went sideways. So still looking for opportunities to buy, but you can see we're not really getting going here. This level that we're at is kind of important, but I would argue that one of these two levels here are probably a little bit more important. So you see I'm picking up the tails here. That's kind of where we are. You can see we're above and below it, and then above. So that's probably what we're aiming for. So those are the three areas. We have tested this trend break, and for me it was a strong move up, and this is a flag situation. No diversions. Oscillators are still overbought, so there is a little bit of fear there. And at the same time, you can see moving averages have crossed over, and we've tested moving averages twice this week on the 3 hour. So a little bit reluctant to be jumping in short, long at the moment here, and not interested in shorts, to be honest. So for me, this is kind of settling into a range. And we all know I do not like trading ranges. I prefer to be trading with the trend. The one thing that is clear, as you can see, a separation of the oscillators, big engulfing bar, and kind of off structure. If you look to the left, put it in here, there. That was early in the week. Then we have sort of come back to that level that we were looking at yesterday. You can see there, hovered around there before accelerating up. There's just too much happening here for me to be excited about a strong move to the upside. Now, if you look at the oscillators all grouped together on the hour, we do have a decent break of the moving averages now as well. We stayed in amongst the moving averages until late in the session. Basically waiting for what's happening with the earnings, and that's pretty much to be expected. So for me, I think the DAX is kind of a sit on hands. This area here would interest me this morning, but I don't think we're going to get much of a move. I want to see what time this was. So this is still okay. So DAX market's closing in this zone here where we are now. So we did clear these tails. So to be honest, what I would be doing, let's get this. Pay attention to these tails. I'm just going to make this really messy now. You can see the oscillators grouping to the downside quite nicely. A bit of divergence forming from the low of yesterday to where we are now. So we do have some gaps here. Sorry, I'm just going to do one more thing here because this is more than likely what's going to play out. So now the chart's really messy for you. So you can see there's a 50% Fibonacci. We've got the 61.8 in this cluster here. So I'll just add one more level for that one. Where would we argue that it's going to be? Probably on that tail there. Right, let's just get rid of this. Okay, nice messy chart, and what you're looking for ideally would be a deeper pullback down to this 16073 area. It could be held up in this zone right here at 16085, and obviously in between we've also got 16079. So this area here, if you look left, that's probably a fairly decent area to be paying attention to for an opportunity long. Pay attention to these gaps here. So these two areas also come into play. at 16097 and 16100. So 16100 is a round number as well. So pay attention to that. I wouldn't be paying attention to these two levels here. Don't think that's going to be too important just yet. What we want to see is a pullback on structure for another move to the upside. So I think it's just going to be more of the same. So probably hit some kind of a range or just drift down into the 61.8 Fibonacci or a move up. If it does come down to the 61.8, in other words 16079, then you have a measured move in play, and that measured move is this move here, and you'd be doing that, and you'd be wise to go back to the 8 hour just to see what targets there, and you can see there is a little bit of structure. It's not clear, but there is a little bit of structure in that area. But anyway, so you can see the noise we've got in this chart right now. So it's not something that I would be too excited about, but I suppose it's worth a punt. So first, pay attention to 16100, probably the first area. And the beauty about this is you can take a 20-point risk. So you can take a fairly small position with very low risk for the trade, or you could hold it further back to the downside and actually add more at the 61.8 and then sort of get to your risk profile. But what I'd rather do is see if there's price action here, jump in, keep the stop tight. If I'd lose there, no problem. I will come back to the 61.8 here at 16079 and then pay attention to price action there and jump in down there with a tight stop. One of the two is going to work, I think, for a move to the upside. The question is how far it's going to go. So could move the measured move, but there's no catalyst to drive European markets today. So anyway, that's kind of my view at the moment. I think the US market's a little bit more attractive for me, so I'll probably not get involved in the DAX. But pay attention to this. If that's all you're trading, then you could find that's where your trade is coming from. I hope that helps, and if it does, drop us a thumbs up, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow. Cheers for now.